Okay, can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, myself, Devi Kandasamy. I am working as a technical lead with Cubotica, and I am a 2 times MVP. So today we are going to see selectors and PDF automation. So what is a selector? So selector is an XML-based string that helps you to uniquely identify UI elements in the screen. So they are like address for the UI elements. So these UI elements could be like buttons, text fields, checkboxes, or drop downs. So these selectors enables UiPath robots to interact with these UI elements accurately during automation. So they play a critical role when it comes to the stability of UI automation. So they are generated by the studio itself when you choose an element as a target. And if your application is volatile or it has changing layouts or attribute values, then we have to edit these selectors to make it more reliable and stable. So what does it contain? Let me minimize this. Okay. So the selectors consist of one or more nodes, and they are organized in an hierarchical manner. And if you see that each of the parent node is a container to the node below it. So in this example, the first node tells that this an app is an AnyTeller demo, and the control name is form AnyTeller. And the node below that has a control name panel main, so which is a container within the form AnyTeller. And if you see the third node, it is present within the main panel, which represents the deposit pane. And then we have the text box, which represents the actual element. And these are organized in an hierarchical manner. And when we talk about selectors, so what do they mainly contain? So they are composed of tags and attributes. So the tags are the nodes in the selector, and they corresponds to the element that you actually see on the screen. And the first node actually represents the app window itself. So in this example, we saw that the form AnyTeller is the first node, and it has an exe app attribute. So it denotes the actual application itself. And the last node represents the actual element. So it has the control name, which represents txt deposit caption. So it is the actual text box that is of interest. And what is an attribute? Attributes are properties or characteristics that adds more information to the element. And they contains a name value pair of thing. And if you see here, we have control name as an attribute, app is an attribute, and there are other common attributes like name, ID, class, title, and type. So these attributes provide more information about the element, and it helps you to take action on the element. And then what are the types of selectors? So we have a full selector and then partial selector. So full selector contains the complete UI hierarchy. Like it also contains the top level window. And this is mostly seen in classic UI activities. So in this sample, you see that it starts with the window tag with the application name, and it ends with the text box as the control name. So this is a sample full selector. But if you take on the other side, if you see on the other side, we have partial selector. So they does not contain a parent or the top level window information. These activities generally present within a container, and modern activities is the one which uses partial selector concept. And if you see here, the top level window, though it is visible here, it is grayed out, and you cannot edit this when you open it in the UI Explorer. So this is partial selector. Now let's move on to the next part. UI Explorer. So what is an UI Explorer? So it is an advanced tool provided by UiPath. It helps you to build more precise and stable selectors. So it also provides you more detailed view of the UI hierarchy, and it helps you to troubleshoot any issues that you face with selectors during runtime. So you can add or remove attributes, or you can add or remove nodes to make the selectors more reliable. So it has different panel options here. It has top level menus and then visual tree panel, and then selector editor panel, and selector attributes panel, and then property explorer panel. Now let's see each of them in detail. So this is a UI Explorer. You can open this from your studio project if you have the UI automation activities package added to the project. If you couldn't see that UI Explorer in your project, then you can add the UI automation package from Manage Packages, and then you can click on this to see it. So we have top level field options here. So what is a validate button? So this button will let you know about the status of the selector. So if it is in green color, that means that the selector you have chosen is a valid one. If it is in red color, then the selector chosen is an invalid one. And if it is in orange color, that means that you have changed something in the selector part and it's yet to be revalidated. So once then, if you click on validate button again, it will let you know that whether this changed selector or the updated selector is valid or not with green or red color. And then we have the indicate element. So this help you to choose the element from this UI screen. And we have indicate anchor. So this will help you to choose an element as an anchor so that it would provide you more reliable selector. We have the repair option. So if the selector chosen is invalid, you can use this repair option so that it will get updated. And then we have this highlight option, and clicking on this, it will highlight the element with the red box. And with the help of inspect elements, you can identify any native events triggered by the UI element. And then we have options to choose UI frameworks. So what is a UI framework? It is a technology used to get the UI elements and their selectors. So there are three options here. The default one, which is the UiPath proprietary method. It works fine with almost all of the UI interfaces. And then we have active accessibility option. So this is recommended for any legacy application where the default one doesn't work. And then we have the third option, which is UI automation option. And this is applicable for, or this is recommended for newer applications where the default one doesn't work. And then we have a delayed restore option. So this you can use for UI elements that closes by itself. Like for example, when you're working with dropdown or any some overlay elements, then you can use delay restore option. So this would delay the loading of UI Explorer window. And then we have trigger selector, which is generally used for generating selectors for trigger activities. So that's about the top options. And then we have visual tree. So this visual tree shows you the complete UI hierarchy. And here we do have a search option. So you can search by the selector, or you can search by the tag or by the class to identify and find an element. And then we have the selector editor panel. So this shows all the nodes, top level nodes for that particular element. And here you can add or remove nodes by checking or unchecking the corresponding checkboxes across the node. And when you select a node, you could see the selected items panel shows the attributes corresponding to that node. So for example, when I select this node, you could see that it shows CSS selector, and then it has the tag as div. And there are other attributes which is not shown here in the selector panel. And it is not available in this bottom panel as well, as we didn't select those attributes. So if you select one of these attributes, then it will get showed up in the below panel as well. So this will help you to fine tune the selectors so that it will provide you a more reliable and stable UI automation. And then we have a property explorer. So this would provide you a list of other attributes related to that particular element. So that's about the UI Explorer. Now let's know more about Event Inspector. So I'm clicking on this. So this tool is mainly used in case of trigger-based activities where you perform UI application trigger. So when we click on this record button, and then perform actions on the UI interface, the corresponding events triggered in the event will get recorded here. So it will have the event name, timestamp, and the event data to show you what are the events occurred across that element. So there are options provided here. So it could be a text change event, it could be key press event, it could be a click event, or it could be a double click event. So this would help you to record those actions, and thereby you can use that to configure any application event trigger. Now let's move back to the slide. So this is about the UI framework. And then we had the event inspection tool. So this is one such sample where the events where information were gathered. So you can export this information into a CSV format to refer it later. And if it is not needed, you can clear this. And if you want to retry again, you can clear this and record it again. And then how can we fine tune these selectors? So there are various options by which you can achieve more stable selectors. So one such option is wildcard. So there are two different wildcard characters. So asterisk, so it is used to replace zero or more characters in a selector. And the question mark replaces a single character. So if your application has multiple titles, and if you want to make it generic, then you can use this wildcard characters, asterisk or question mark, depending on the number of characters to replace. So thereby you could achieve a more stable automation, and it could achieve you reusability of the existing selector. So in this sample, we see that the title attribute, some parts of some values of title attribute is replaced by asterisk symbol. So this is capable of finding element across any notepad irrespective of the name of the notepad. So that's why we have this as asterisk replaced here. And then we have next option, which is dynamic selector. So we can go for dynamic selector if you want to replace value for an attribute with variable or an argument. So this will help you in reusing the selector across different elements, or if you want to decide the element on in runtime, then we can go for dynamic selectors. So now let's go for demo. So we have this RPA challenge website. I have opened a Chrome browser with this website, and it should have the browser extension installed and enabled. And we are going to enter a value to the first name text box. And we are going to see how we can leverage multiple options to do this. So now let's create a workflow called demo, and I'm going to use app application or browser to connect with that web page. And I'm going to indicate that particular application. Okay, so we see that the browser URL is selected here as rpachallenge.com, and by default it uses Chromium API as input and the window attached mode is application instance. Now we are going to perform type into activity. And then I'm going to select that element, first name. And you see that the target information is collected, and it shows that it is not found because of the accuracy of the selected target. So we can reconfirm this, or we can validate it again to check whether it is identified or not. So it's not yet identified. So we are going to delete this and select it again. Now let's choose this as target. Okay, here we go. So now we have green color target, and it also added an anchor by itself, and that anchor corresponds to the first name label that is present here. Now I'm going to confirm this. And we are going to repeat this for 5 times. So I'm going to create a variable counter. And with an integer type, I'm going to initialize this as 1. And we are going to check whether the counter has reached 6. So we are going to repeat this activity until the counter reaches 6. And I'm going to move this activity within this container. And then we are going to add a click event for the submit button. We are going to select the submit button here, present. Okay, let's check. Okay, it's getting the target information. And I'm going to confirm this. And then we are going to add an assign activity to increment the counter. Okay, so now let's run this automation. So I'm going to do run file. So this would run only this particular workflow. So right now we have used the fuzzy selector with anchor, which is identified by the unified target method of UiPath to perform this automation. So we are entering, one second, we didn't provide value to enter. Let me update the value here. So this would enter first name plus string. And we are going to run this. So we are going to enter value to the first name field and click on submit button. And once we click on submit button, the page would refresh again. And the second time you would see that first name will be in different place. So, and it also contain attribute value, which is changing for every page refresh, which I could explain in detail. Let's first run this and check if the automation completes. So it's entering value here and it's entering the value here. This is from the UI Explorer. I'm closing this. Okay, so now we see that the automation has completed successfully. So right now we have used fuzzy selector with anchor and we can change this to work with a strict selector. So right now I'm going to show you how we can do that. So I'm going to change this option to strict selector. And then unchecking the fuzzy selector option. And we are going to edit this from the panel. And I'm going to open the UI Explorer. So we see here that the validate button is red color because the strict selector was not able to identify that element as the attribute value ID is changing every time. So now let's indicate the element again. So let's go back to the browser and choose the first name again. Okay, so here we see that the ID value got changed. So how do we do that with strict selector? So we can inspect all the parent nodes and decide which node could help you in figuring out the corresponding element. So I'm going to see the parent nodes here. So we have a div tag which has an IDX of 2. So generally IDX is not recommended to be included in the selector. But if there is no option, make sure that you limit at least to 1 or 2 values. And we are going to select some more nodes to eliminate this IDX value. And we also can avoid using CSS selector as this is mainly dependent on UI hierarchy. So I'm unchecking this. You can make use of class attribute, or you can make use of um, parent class, or you can make use of inner text because these values would be more stable and it does not contain any dynamic parts like numbers to make it more changing. So right now we are trying to make it a more stable one. So I'm choosing the attributes that would make it more stable. So now we see that based on the nodes and attributes that we selected, there is no dynamic parts except the last one. So now we can remove this ID and let's validate if it's working fine. So we got the green button. So that means the selector is valid. So let's save this. And go back to the automation again. And the selector got updated and I'm clicking on OK. And we see that the selector got changed and we have made the targeting method only for strict selector. So we are saving this and running the file. So this is one such way of fine-tuning the selector by looking into the parent nodes and then adding or removing attributes to make it more stable. So it's running now. Now let's see whether it's entering value. Yeah, we see that it's entering value into the first name text box. Now this has completed fine. Now let's do one more type where we can make this selector dynamic by using a variable or an argument. So in this selector, we see that first name is the one which identify the element uniquely or it differentiates between other text boxes. So based on the runtime value, if you have to decide to use different text box to enter value like a last name, then you can make it more dynamic by using variable or argument. So right now I'm going to select this one and click on Control K so that I'm able to create a new variable. So if you have a variable already, you can do Control space and select that variable. And I'm going to name this variable as field name and confirming it. So I'm going to update this selector as well. I'm doing field name again. Let me go back and refresh because it's not recognizing as it's just now created. Let me save this and the variable got created, and let's go back again and then update it here. And this. Let's choose the variable already here. Field name, confirm. And then let's do that here again. Sorry, my system is a little slow today. And then select the field name, confirm. And we are clicking on OK. So now the field name, which is the first name, is not part of the selector, but it is made dynamic by using of a variable. Now let's run this automation. So thus there are various methods to make the selectors more reliable. So we have seen how to make use of the unified target method, and we also edited the selector by choosing the parent node and multiple attributes. And we have also made this dynamic by making use of a variable. And you can also use a find children activity. So that activity would get you list of child elements within a parent element, and you can apply filter to that particular activity to get only the input text box as the output element. And from there you can choose or enter value to the target element by using type into activity. So your UI activities can get the selector as input or as an element as input. So when you do that using find children activity, you can pass the output of that find children activity into this input UI element and then run the automation. So by this, we are coming to end of selectors. Do we have any questions?
I think Atul answered most of the questions. The only one I see still left is, why would you want to prefer strict selector in place of fuzzy selector?
We can go for either one. So if your fuzzy selector is not reliable, and if you want to edit some parts, like as I shown in the dynamic example, where if you have to decide on the element name during runtime, then you can go for dynamic selector. Or if your fuzzy selector is not reliable, you can use strict selector to make it more reliable by choosing between attributes and the multiple nodes.
And that was the only other question I saw.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, let me stop sharing. Okay, over to you, Atul.
Okay, thank you so much, Devi, for that. Let me start presenting here. And let me know when you're able to see my screen.
Not yet.
How about now?
Not yet.
Still not.
Now I can see a screen that says UiPath Studio.
Yes, I'm just about to click the presentation here. Okay. Is it fine now?
Yes.
Okay. So welcome everyone. Thank you, Debbie, for giving over the selectors. And I may be partially using a little bit of that to show how they are being used in the PDF automation. So this session is covering the PDF automation. We will be talking about overall the techniques, the features that we have available in the UiPath for PDF automation. And the objective of this session is to understand what exactly different type of PDFs are, how to extract data or text from PDF, how to install and configure the UiPath activity package, and what are the different techniques that we will be using. And mostly this session is going to be more demo. I will demonstrate using the UiPath Studio how it is working, and less more like a presentation, but more over to the demo. So PDF, as we all know that in today's digital world, business handles a massive amount of documents, right, on daily basis. And PDF remains a dominant format for sharing and storing data. And that's why the PDF automations comes in place, because we don't want to manually do all the time consuming and error prone work, right? And that's where UiPath steps in. It provides many packages, the PDF activity that helps us in transform those tedious, repetitive document handling tasks into seamless, accurate, and scalable automation, right? Whether you're dealing with native PDFs or scanned documents, UiPath can work with that. And in today's session, we will explore how it enables that automation, covering from text extraction to OCR powered recognition for scanned documents. And by the end of the session, you will be equipped to understand and use this knowledge of PDF data extraction like a professional. So UI PDF automation. The main feature here is the PDF automation here. There is actually a difference between, not a lot of times people ask, okay, how it is different from document understanding, right? So PDF automation is simplified version of that. It basically extract text from PDFs, read structured and semi-structured data, perform UI automations, and more like a OCR. And it's best suited for when your structured, a more structured PDF is there. You have scanned or image-based PDF, and you're not looking for a very advanced data extraction, right? Whereas document processing is a more advanced AI-powered solution designed for intelligent document understanding, right? That is the main difference. PDF is more for like simplified extraction, where document is used for more advanced AI-powered solution processing, like your receipts, your invoices, so those kind of stuff. So that is the main difference, and we are going to today focus will be more on the PDF automation of it. Now there are two types of PDFs that you will be dealing with. One is the native PDF. What it means that these PDFs are originally generated like basically a born digital. I mean, they are when you look into the PDF, you will be able to select those text, you will be able to highlight. So basically they are more digitalized form of it. Okay. So basically, quick way to check is if you can select a box or a text in that file, it means it is a native PDF. Then there's a scanned PDF. A scanned PDF is like, it's more like an image. It's not a text or the blocks in there. A PDF contains an image of that document. So within that image, then there are text, right? So that is the two difference. When you're dealing with PDF, you need to apply different techniques to handle different kind of PDF. It is a native PDF, it is much simpler. You can simply extract the data from PDF, and we will learn which activity you can use. But when it's a scanned PDF, which is more like in a form of an image, then you need to do a different technique for extracting the data, and that's what we are going to cover. Before that, we will jump into the activities or how to the demo. One thing is there are few changes that you may need to do when you're dealing with the PDF, and this slide documents or highlights about those steps, so that you need to basically change some setting in the reading settings, some security setting, and some accessibility settings. And this is the step-by-step instruction. Most of the times by default, these settings are enabled. But when you are not able to extract data, then you may need to perform these steps like open the Acrobat Reader, go to the preference menu, and then select the reading category, and then change couple of these settings like reading order, page was document, and accessibility and security. So these are all available, I mean, in this sheet step by step. If you want to go through, feel free to do that. But this is one setting, even if by default they are enabled, it's good idea when you are doing PDF automation to go through these steps to make sure that your Acrobat Reader is configured this way so that you will be able to extract data. Now, UiPath, but actually before I jump to the UiPath specifically PDF activity, I hope everybody understand what the activities are. So in UiPath, activities are the foundational, the customizable building blocks used to design and implement automated workflow, right? They are pieces of puzzles. When you put all those pieces together, that's how you complete your automation process. So any activity, when I'm referring as activity, they are the building block for the UiPath automation. And UiPath offers two activities to support PDF automation. One is the read PDF text activity, and the second activity is the read PDF with OCR. Now, both the activities are available as part of the UiPath automation PDF package, which I will discuss and how to install it. But to understand that, there will be two activities that will be available. One, read PDF text, and read PDF with OCR. Read PDF text is more suitable for native PDFs, like we will discuss. If it is in a text format, they are more accurate. And PDF with OCR is used when you have a scanned PDF, which requires OCR configuration. Among two, again, I mentioned read PDF text is more accurate, but you need to, for the read PDF with OCR, you need to make sure you configure your OCR correctly. And when it comes to OCR, I believe OCR, everybody understand, it's the optical character recognition. It's the engine that used to extract text from images, right, in a scanned document or other graphical contents, right? There are many OCR engines available. Few of them are free, few of them are paid. For example, Tesseract OCR that we are going to use in today's demos is a free one. Then there are other cloud-based OCR engines. Some of them are free. For example, if you want to use the UiPath, it is available over the cloud. Then there's Microsoft, then there's Abby one, OmniPage one. So many OCR are available. But we are going to focus in this one, the Tesseract OCR, which is a free OCR engine that is available. And it's a local, you don't need to have an API key. For example, for the UiPath OCR engines, you need to, it should be available over the cloud. You need to get the API key. Same way for the Microsoft OCR and other engines, which I will show what is the difference between those. Now, regarding these two activities, like I mentioned, they both are available as part of the UiPath PDF activities package. And how you need to install it, basically from the studio, you will click on manage packages. And from the manage package, this window will open. Search for either simply as PDF, or you can actually more specifically, you can mention that UiPath.pdf.activities, which will show you something like this one, and you will click install. Once the package, you may need to accept some consents there. Once you do that, the package will be installed, and this is when you will search on the activity package, this PDF, you will see all this activity that comes as part of this package will be available to you. And the two one that we are going to focus is the read PDF text and the read PDF with the OCR. Next one. Now, we have understood what are the different type of PDFs are. PDFs are basically for storing, and then we have native PDF, we have scanned PDF. We discussed about the UiPath activity package. We discussed at a high level what is different between PDF automation and a document understanding, where PDF is a simplified one, document understanding is the more advanced, using all the power of AI. We talked about how to install the package and what are the activities, how it will be available to you. Now let's jump into the demo. So in demo, I'm going to cover at a like five like main things. One, how to use how to extract data using the read PDF text activity. In the second demo, I will show how to read PDF the text using the same, like we will still be using the read PDF text activity, but I will be demonstrating how we can extract specific fields from them. For example, in a text, you may have a order number or a customer name. So we will use some regular expression to get onto those specific fields. Then we'll jump into the read PDF using OCR activity. Then we will look into an example where we can piece a single piece of data from multiple PDFs, and then we'll use data from multiple PDFs. And at the end, I will show some example of invoices. And I'll not run a demo, but I will also show in a industry, like a practical use case, a real-time use case, how that PDF automation look like. So this is what we are going to cover. So let's jump into the demo. Okay. So the very first one we talked about is the read PDF using the read PDF text activity, right? So very simple use case. Okay, what we are doing is we are simply like, let's go back to the activities here. If you will go here and simply search PDF, you will see this activity. All you need to do is drag and drop this activity. So this activity, when you will drag and drop here, the only input that is required here is where is your file, right? And you can click into the browse button here and you can point where that PDF exists. But here for the simplicity, I'm simply my PDF exists in the data folder, which is simple here. So for example, let me go here also. So this is where my PDF exists. If you will see here, that is what I'm pointing to, that under data, the sample order replacement native PDF, read the data from this PDF. And if you will look into that one, let me open this PDF. This is how this PDF looks like. So simple, if you will see, like I was mentioning, if you are able to select text, this is a native PDF because I'm able to select the text here, specific text here. So this is how you determine whether it's a native PDF or a scanned PDF. So what we are going to do is simply we are going to extract data from this PDF as part of the demo one. So let's close this one and run this demo. And like I mentioned, this PDF activity, what is this process is doing, read the PDF from, read the text from this PDF, write in a text file, and message that whatever the text that it is extracted in a message box. So let's run this activity. So if you will see here, this is the message box that pop-ups. And like I was showing in the PDF here, this is the data we have extracted, exactly as it, all the information we sincerely and all this one. So this is how the read PDF activity as a very basic will open that PDF and extract the data and present this data here. And we are also outputting this data in the output folder, which is, if you will go here under output, this one is the order replacement. So this is, you will see, after reading the data, I'm showing the message box, but I'm also reading it in a text format. So this is a very bare minimum, very simple form of it, how to read a text using the read PDF text activity. Now, there are scenarios. This is what we are extracting all the data from here, right? But what if, right? What if I want to, if you'll see here, what if I don't want all this information, right? I'm looking for specific information, for example, order number or old tracking number or new tracking number or shipping address, right? Let's say my process, my use case is to read each PDF in a loop. Let's say I have hundreds of email. I want to go through each email and capture the order number, tracking number, and the shipping address from each field, right? So I don't need all this other text. So how we can do that? There are multiple ways to do that. You can do string manipulation. We will go into more about the anchor-based approach. But in this approach, I'm going to show you how to do in a simplified way, which is using the regular expression. That is the demo number 2. So let's see. Same activity. What I'm doing here is still reading the same email, same PDF. But if you will see here, I have added couple of like more activities. These activities are all called the core activity of matches. What it does is it builds a regular expression for you. For example, from a text, and let's go back here. If you will see here, this is my text, right? So I will put this text here. In this activity, what I'm going to do is when you build this, you need to build a regular expression, and it's very easy to do that. Depending upon if you have knowledge about how to build, otherwise you can easily find it over the internet how to build a regular expression. But for example, this expression I built to extract the order number. So once I do this one, right, and simply what it is going to do is yep. So basically, if you will see here, the moment I put the text and my regular expression is to extract the order number. So from all your text, this regular expression can extract the order number for you. And this is what I did for other also activity. So in this match pattern activity, I'm extracting the order number. In the other one, I'm extracting the old tracking number. And if you will see here, every time I'm putting a text, this is how it shows. Even if my text number, let's say change, for example, if I change it to anything, right, it should be able to extract that. That's the power of the regular expression. No matter it is not dependent upon the text, even if I change it, it should be able to extract that regular expression for me. Okay, so this is what we are doing. So what I did is in the same read PDF activity, I have added couple of patterns here, and what I'm going to do, run the same process here. So if you see here, this is the previous activity where it is showing the complete text extracted from the PDF. And in the next one, I'm basically showing the message box where it has extracted a specific sections or fields like order number, tracking number, new tracking number, and the shipping address. So that is one way of reading the text. But if you want to further customize it, there are multiple techniques using the regular expressions, using the string manipulation, which I will also show. And then there's an anchor-based approach, which I will also show in the upcoming demos. So those are the 2 activities so far. We have covered how to use the extract the data using the read PDF activity. Now, let's do one more thing. Let's take an example here. So far, we have only covered the native PDF. Now, let's take an example here and open a PDF which has both text. For example, here, this is a PDF which I have text, right? And then there's an image also. This is how you will find that this image, this is a scanned image, because there is text within a image in this PDF, right? So what I want to do is I want to extract both the text as well the text within this image. How can I do that, right? So let's take an example first here. What I'm going to do next is the next activity. I'm going to use the same read PDF text activity, right? And let's see whether it is able to extract the image or not. If you will try to read or extract data from a PDF which has both text as well as image, if you will try to use the read PDF activity, let's see what will happen. So if you will see here, let's go back to the image. This is the image that we are extracting, native and scanned image, which I've just shown that it has both the text as well as image. And if you will see, if I will use the read PDF text activity, it will only extract the text part of it, like up to this report reported by James Doe, right? It is not able to extract anything from the image. So that is the drawback of that read by text to image activity. If you're trying to use that and your PDF contains images, this activity will not be able to extract data from that. So what we need to do for that, we will jump into the next activity, which is to get the text from the image also. So what I'm going to do is now next I'm using the other activity which is available as part of the package is the read PDF with the OCR engine. This activity also very simple. What it is required is firstly you need to provide the file which you want to extract data. But on top of that, which I mentioned initially, we need to configure OCRs. Okay, and if you will see here, there are multiple OCRs available, OCR engine, UiPath document OCR, Tesseract OCR, UiPath screen OCR, then Microsoft Azure Computer Vision, Google Cloud, and Read PDF with the other, this is the one. But these are the different OCR that are available. And then there are additional packages that are available like Omni, Omni, Abby. So there are a couple of them which are I've not installed, but they are available in the marketplace or you can install using the package manager. Once you do that, simply drag and drop that particular OCR engine. But for any reason, let me also show you that let's spend one time. Actually, I'll come back onto the different OCR engine. But so far, let's run this activity and I'll cover a little bit more onto the different OCR engine. So in this activity, I have dragged and dropped the read PDF with OCR, and I have configured the Tesseract OCR. I'm writing that into a file and showing that extracted text in the message box. So let's run this activity. So depending upon your data, some PDFs may take a little bit more time to extract all those data from that image. The engine is still running. I have not seen the output yet. So if you will see here, now this is the output. Now, if you will see in the previous example, when I was using the read PDF with text only, it was only able to extract this point. But with the read PDF with OCR engine, now all the text within that image, I'm able to extract. So anything after reported by James Doe is part of that. If you will, let's open this one. So if you see all the information that was available earlier in this image, which includes order details, order placed, and other information that is all available here in this image, I'm able to extract using the OCR engine now. Okay, so that is the main difference between the read text and the read OCR engine activity. Let's go back here. Same. Now, let's take a quick example here. When you are, like I was explaining, then there are different OCR engines that are available. So let me actually create a quick process here just to demonstrate the different OCRs. So if you will see here, and I will simply point it to. Okay. So now, when I'm simply dragging and dropping this Tesseract OCR, nothing is required. Pretty much everything is configurable, but there are multiple options that you can go through. But when you are trying to use any OCR other OCR engine, for example, cloud-based, right? That's Google Cloud. You will see it requires the API key. Okay, same way, this is a cloud-based OCR where you need an API key and you may need to like subscribe, or some kind of subscription is required, or it is a paid one. Similarly, if you will use Microsoft one, same way it requires an API key, which means it's a cloud-based OCR engines. It's not, in this current example, Tesseract is the only one which is a local engine. Rather, other are cloud-based OCR. Some requires, some are paid, some are free, depending upon. But you need to go into more details, and we can cover as part of some other sessions about the OCR engine. But I want to show you that there are few local engines that are easy to use and are available right away. For other one, you may need to go through the API keys to your, for example, for the UiPath, you need to get that key from your document, your automation cloud, and key in that key in your OCR engine. Now let's jump into other activities. So far we have covered the first one was using the native, right? Simple using the read PDF. Then we covered if we will use the same activity and that PDF has both text and images, how that will work. It will be only able to extract the text one, not the image one. Then we covered the next activity, which is the read PDF with the OCR, and we use the Tesseract OCR. And in this demo, we were able to extract both the images as well as the text from images as well as the digital text. And then we are now jumping into the invoice one. Okay, so in this particular demo, let's understand a problem statement or a use case. You have received email containing scanned PDF files, right, with the latest invoices, and we want to create a workflow that extract the date and the total from each PDF. Okay, so very first thing which I'm doing is, if you will see, from the current environment, I'm basically extracting all the invoices. I'm running a loop where, let's see here under invoices, if you will see, and there are native PDFs and images. So in this particular example, I'm going to use two invoices, which is image based. So let's say this one. Okay, so my idea here is, if you will see, this is an image based PDF, which is means like we need to use OCR engine, and I will go through each PDF and extract the total, this field, and the date. This is the two fields that I want to extract from the two PDFs. So what this process is going to do, it is going to firstly get the path from where I want to these PDFs will reside. I'm building a data table where I will store both the columns, which is the invoice date and the invoice total. Okay, then for each PDF that is available in that path, I'm going to loop it through, and one by one, I'm going to read that text from that using the OCR engine, and then I'm going to do some manipulation here. For example, in this case, I'm going to use the read PDF, this one right to date, text to left, right, and then the other one. Basically, these are data manipulation or string manipulation techniques where I will be taking the data and formatting that data, and finally I will be putting that data into an Excel sheet here, adding a row in Excel sheet, and basically then I'll show you. So let's run this demo. So if you see in the log output, it has extracted the date and the total and put that into a Excel sheet. So let's see where that Excel sheet is. Invoice report. If I go here, so if you see, it has extracted the invoice date and the invoice total. And you can always make it more fine-tuned, where you can create a template of an Excel sheet, and rather than creating a new Excel sheet, you basically use some kind of template to put that data. And if you will see, this is what those two PDFs were. Let's match whether they are matching with the field or not. So we were using the image-based one, and let's go here. The first PDF, the date is April 15th and the total is 799. And if you see, April 15, 2021, total is 799. And same way, if you will look into the other PDF, April 15, 2021, and the total was 19. 970. So this is how we have extracted a specific field from multiple PDFs using the OCR engine. And here we have used the data manipulation technique, string manipulation technique, to extract the specific fields. Okay. So this is one example of how in a practical case invoices we can extract data from there. Let's jump to the next one. Okay. So far we have used two activities, right? Read PDF by text and then read PDF by OCR engine. This technique is more about using the anchor based technique. What we are going to do here is, if you will see here, what I've did is simply I am opening a PDF here, and then I'm using a activity called the use application activity, where I think Devi just have demonstrated how to use selectors, all those one. So here I've using the selector, I'm opening a PDF and I'm specifying a specific field that I need to extract. Okay, so let's take an example here. What I'm basically trying to say here is, and again, if anyone is not for topic for this session today, but there's a very simple way to actually generate with autopilot. I will try to see if I can demonstrate that one, but let me see if I have that one. But in one of the example, I would like to show you how we can actually create this whole demo using the autopilot, just a glimpse of it. But so far, what I'm going to do here is, in this one, let's close all the other activities, PDF one, invoice one. Okay. So in this one, what we need to do is firstly use the activity, which is the use application. So I'm simply dragging and dropping this activity just to show you what does that mean. So far, I'm providing for each loop, but I'm just showing you not the complete workflow, but how this activity works. So for example, when you drag and drop this one, and let's say I have a PDF here, and here I'm using the PDF from native. So what I'm going to use here is native. So let's say if I'm opening this one image here. So this is my image PDF. And what I'm going to do here is, with that PDF here, I want to make sure that I can show you what exactly I'm doing. So this is my PDF. This is this one. Let's close this one. And when I'm going to indicate application to automation, so when you click on this one, it will ask which application you want to use. So when I click on this PDF, what you will see here is, okay, because I'm already using it, so I'll not use that one. But the idea here is, once you will do that activity, it will simply drag and drop that particular invoice. It will get this application, and then you can use the processes which I'm demonstrating here. It's a very simple one. And once you do that, for example, here I'm using that same Acrobat using, and then you use the get text total activity, where you will simply point that text to that location. Actually, let me show you that so that you can get a, let me, instead of jeopardizing this demo. So what I'm going to use is, I'll create a copy of this one. Okay, so I can play around it to show you what exactly. So if you will see here in this one, when you look into the selectors here, this is where you will define all these are created here. Now for the elements here, let's say if we want to capture the element. Okay, so in this PDF, where's my PDF? In this PDF, I want to extract the total, right? So all I need to do is, when you click on this one, indicate stream target on that element, I'll not jeopardize this one, but it's very simple. When you do this one, I want to make sure we are able to successfully run the demo. So, but once you do that, simply you will point it to this one, this particular field, and that is what a anchor base it will be. It's a very simple one, the most easiest to use one. You basically point to which application. For example, instead of Acrobat Reader, I'm using the Acrobat DC, which is like the professional Acrobat tool. So that's where when you indicate that element, it will automatically able to detect that path. And then you need to simply indicate the field which you want to extract. Very simple, no coding, no manipulation. You simply point to that application, point to that field you want to extract, and that is what this activity is doing. So once you do that, there are few formatting which Devi have also explained that in this tool there are some selectors available. What I'm using here is, if you will see here in the strict selector, what I'm doing is, because once you specify a particular field in your PDF, it will hard code that value. For example, when I was initially doing that, it was hard coding it to that exactly total of that field, which was total of 779, right? And like Devi has demonstrated that you can use wildcard characters to fine tune your selectors, and that's why it was important to understand how those works. So same example which Debbie was showing here, now using the same techniques, what I did is, rather I've removed the hard coding, and instead of that, I'm started using the wild card characters here to use the fine tune my selectors. Once I do that, no matter whether it's 700, 800, this activity should be able to extract the data. And let's run this activity. Oh, actually, I run the wrong one, but it should work. So in the message box, if you see, the first got extracted. And now it is extracting the same next one. And from the next PDF also, my total got extracted. And this completes the complete process. And then the output will be available under the outputs here. Yeah. So I'm using the same output invoice report to do that. So this is how, using the anchor based approach, you should be able to extract data from the PDF. And the last one is using the multiple PDF, same approach. What I'm doing is going through the same data, using the same like PDF open browser activity, but rather than extracting one field, I am extracting multiple fields. For example, invoice number, invoice date, invoice total. So once I do that, basically I'm doing some kind of string manipulation, because sometimes what you face is that the selectors are not like up to date. Like, I mean, they are not exactly extracting the invoice number. Some PDFs are like, I mean, a complete section where you need to do some kind of data manipulation using the regular expression or string manipulation to get the exactly field that you require. But this is the same activity. What I'm doing is opening that, extracting invoice number, invoice date, invoice total, doing some string manipulation, adding that into rows, and then writing that in a Excel sheet. And if I run that one, it's going to now go through all the PDFs that are there, extract the invoice total and invoice date from those PDFs and put it into an Excel sheet. So if you see, for each from the each PDF, it has extracted these field in the output window from the second PDF, and then the process will be finished when it is done extracting all the data and putting in a Excel sheet. So if you see here, I have 3 PDFs. So it has extracted all the data from one PDF, which is 8744 7201 860, and is processing the 4th PDF. excuse me. So it has, and if you will see here, invoice total is in different currency also. So it has faced no issue in doing that, and everything is here. If you will see here. Now let's go back to the output, and this is the invoice details that is created. So if you see here, invoice number, invoice date, and invoice total. So these are the 4 PDFs that I've used. Let's go into the first one, invoice 4855744. If you see here, the invoice number is 4855744. Invoice date, which is here, which is 2017-05-28. And then the total is 150214 in USD. So this is how it will done. And then there's so many things that you can do on top of that. In a practical scenarios, you may need to format the invoice date into a different format, TDMMYY or some different format. You may want to show a dollar sign here. So all those techniques can be used using the string manipulation techniques that are easy to implement, or even using the regex. That concludes our demo, which covers all the basic of PDF automation. One thing before I stop sharing is these are the simplified demo, right? I mean, we know that the practical use cases are far more complex than this one, but this should give you an idea about how the automation looks like. And again, in this demo, I am not doing anything fancy here, simply a single drag and drop. But in an actual typical real case scenarios, you do a little bit more fine tuning on top of that, right? For example, in this demo, if you will see, what I'm doing is I'm doing multiple steps here. For example, and I'm just showing this example so that anyone who is just starting automating, they understand that it's a good idea when you start a demo, provide a brief description about it, assign your variable. For example, here I'm starting with a date timestamp and a start time, right? And then when I'm starting the process, I start with the log message that at this stage, this is what my process will look like. It starts with a message that the processing has started. And in step 1, what I'm doing is I'm setting up all the rows and columns for that Excel sheet. For example, here I'm building a data table for some fields, right? And depending upon that, I'm assigning, then I'm creating the output folders, right? It may be possible the folders are not available. So you want to validate that the folder exists. If they don't exist, you create the folders, right? In this particular example, what I'm doing is I'm creating the output folders. There is an input folder where all the files are available. This process will take one file one by one. Once it is done processing that file, it will move that file into a processing folder. Once it is done, it will move that file into the archival folder. That's why I'm creating different folder for processing, archival, right? And then that's how it is doing. Once each is done, I'm running through a loop for each of, and then I've created template like the Excel template, which I will pick rather than I want to keep it more formatted output. So I've created an Excel sheet where I have defined the template for that one, and then I'm going through all the PDF one by one, writing down how many PDFs are there, how many pages are in each PDF, and then I'm processing each PDF one by one using the OCR engine. Here I'm using the OmniPage OCR, and then I'm doing some manipulation. For example, here, if you will see, depending upon the file, again, this all can be done using the document processing, but this is, I'm demonstrating how it can be achieved using the PDF automation. So you can definitely use the document processing, which will automatically classify your PDFs and digitize it. But this is using a alternate approach of using PDF automation. Here I'm depending upon some parameter. I'm taking a call. If this has some parameters like this text, it means this is of this PDF. So once I classify that PDF, I am taking different route. If it is a conviction or a negate or a different one, so different workflow will follow that path. And within that path, then it shows the further process about extracting the tags, and then I'm showing how to use the regex on top of that. So this is how a good I'll not say, again, everyone has a different way of doing that. This is how normally I do that. Again, this can all be done using the document processing, but this is an example which I'm doing. And then I'm also taking care of different exception. What if in a try catch block, if I'm trying, because there will be scenarios where you may encounter not able to read some PDF or the PDF is not available. So that's why I'm using a try catch block where I process in a way that if it exception occurs, what to do in that cases. So typically this is how a good process will look like. Clearly define your process, start with logging as much as it will be helpful for you, put it into smaller unit. Another, I mean, if I have to redo that, I may create further sequence for step 1, step 2, and step 3, so that I have different workflow. If I have to, different people need to work on that, they can do it easily. With that, I will stop sharing, and this is all over from the PDF automation side. Over to you, Dinah.
Yeah, just a couple of questions I didn't see answered. It said the first example with the OCR engine showed the fee shipping as $2.99 rather than the free shipping $2.99. Are there frequently these issues with accuracy?
Yes, there will always with the OCR. That's why I was very when I started with the most accurate is the PDF text one with the OCR engine. There will be time to time where you may, like for example, one may get that. That's the most frequently one that I faced. One is being recognized as I, and like this one example that you just pointed out. So we need to fine tune our OCR engines. Like the OCR engines, they provide various way. Each OCR has different way of configuring it. You can reduce the different like configuration in order to make it more accurate. But yes, those are the kind of issues that you may face, and you need to fine tune your OCR depending upon your needs.
Okay, and then they ask, can OCR give different results for the same document if you run it twice?
Yes. No, not with the same. If the same document I'm using, let's say Microsoft OCR, and I'm using OmniPage OCR, and I'm using Google OCR, yes, they may vary their result, because again, every OCR is different, how you have configured it, what is the confidence level for that. So depending upon that, don't get surprised. That's why using the best OCR engine, which satisfy all your purpose, is important. And that's what normally we do when we run. A couple of times I have basically changed the OCR because sometimes Microsoft OCR was not giving me the result which I was looking for. So I have switched over to Google. So that's how you need to sometimes play around. And that's a very practical scenario, real-time phase. These are the kind of issues you will face with OCR.
Okay, great. And then just one last question is, with regards to extracting the total, will the invoice PDF layout fields need to be the same?
Sorry, I didn't get that one.
With regards to extracting the total, will the invoice PDF layout fields need to be the same?
Depending upon multiple factors, right? The brief answer is no. For example, if you are using the text, like I've shown using the regular expression, right? It doesn't matter where your text is. So if you're extracting all the data using the native PDFs, you extract all your data and then you run the regular expressions. In that case, no, wherever that fields change doesn't matter. For the anchor based approach, yes, it is important, because in the anchor based approach you need to specify some anchor against which those field. But again, UiPath, OCR engines, and all this anchor based techniques are advanced now. Initially when it started it was different. Now, like Devi was showing, there are fuzzy selectors, there are so many selectors. So when you use that, if even your fields get changed the position, it is able to recognize that. But there may be scenarios where it will fail. That's where the advanced techniques will come into picture.
And then Atul, can you please highlight the autopilot part?
Oh yes, let me quickly show that. Let me show. Let me know when you're able to see the screen.
I can see it now.
Okay. So let me use. So basically, what we are doing is we are giving a prompt here. So any prompt you want to read a PDF activity, add a data table, write data table into an extraction. So basically, you using the autopilot, if you've seen what I did is basically simply give a prompt. extract by using a substring, add extracted details into a data table, write data table into an Excel. All I'm giving is the prompts. When I click generate here, you will see all the respective activities are available to me. When I click confirm, if it requires any specific packages, it will automatically download that packages for me. All you need to give is give the right set of prompts, and the auto generate feature using those prompts will give you, okay, this is what you want. It will once you confirm that, whatever the dependencies required for those activities, it will download and generate. See how the magic is happening behind the scene. And if you will see here, with just these 3 prompts, boom, all your work is done here, right? There is exactly some information you need to provide, but in terms of activity, all that information will be laid out to you. And you can I actually created this multiple this one for using the auto generate palette also. So you can run a loop, you can simply specify that, read it from a PDF folder, run through loops, just set the right set of prompts, and then it will be able to generate that for you. And this is just a high level glimpse of what auto can do, autopilot can do for you.
Great. So that that is the time we have today. I just want to thank you, Atul and Debbie, for presenting today. Great information. You guys, all this is recorded, so make sure you copy down the chat, because the URLs are in there for where you can find the recording tomorrow, as well as where you can register for the sessions next week. So with that, thank you so much again, and thank you all for joining today. We'll see you
Thank
next
you so
Monday.
much.